Welcome to another episode of Uncut. In our last episode, we talked about mobility in China and how it is changing the way Chinese people move around the country. In China, the population is over 1.4 billion people, just ahead of India. And in terms of land mass, it is a top 3 country. When it comes to cars, China is adding over 20 million new vehicles to its roads every single year. And in total, there is over 300 million cars or trucks on the roads today. Needless to say, the roads in China can sometimes get a little crowded. So what does China do to keep the traffic moving and keep the roads free from jams? Step 1, limit the number of cars on the road. How do they do this? Through number plate restrictions. You need to check every other day if your license plate is restricted at peak times. For example, a 3 may be restricted on a Wednesday, or a 5 may be restricted on a Friday. The exception is with green license plates for electric cars. One way the government has been able to win the first battle in the war on urban smog is by introducing more electric cars into urban environments. So anything with a green plate is unrestricted. You can go anywhere at any time. So each city or territory has its own unique plates depending on where you register your car. Take for example this Lynk & Co. Zhe means it's from Zhejiang province, A means it's from Hangzhou, the biggest city, and blue means it's a gasoline car. So how do you get your plates? First you go through a public lottery. Beijing, for example, is a lottery where you have a 1 in 725 chance of getting a license plate. In other cities such as Shanghai, they do an auction. The cost of a license plate can be as much as nearly $15,000 on top of the price of your car. And many people only have one chance to buy a new car. They obviously buy a good car. How would I personally describe driving in China? I would say that it is an organized chaos. Everything seems to feel very hectic at face value, but once you get moving, you realize that it is a carefully crafted ballet session. People are only going forward, they're only focused on their goal. They're not going super fast, so you don't have to worry about that. But people tend to drive in their own little world. Even though people are going in chaotic lines, people are still very respectful of each other. So you won't have the classic European-American flipping the bird. They will very quickly forgive each other for not using their indicators. But on the other hand, you will never see any kind of violence in China from driver to driver. It is exceedingly rare. Admittedly, people here in China have not been on the roads for very, very long. Most people here are first or second generation drivers. Because of this, traffic restrictions have to be fairly strict. But in many respects, a fine is not enough. Some people have too much money to worry about a trifling little fine. So the government has introduced a very strict points system, which maybe goes a little bit further than what you would get in Europe or North America. So if you go through a red light, 6 points off your license. So that is half of your points allowance gone for the year in an instant. 2 red lights in a year, that's it, your license is gone. You need to go back to school. And passing the Chinese theory test is not an easy task. Even parking incorrectly in China will get you some points in some situations. If you're unlucky enough to find yourself with no points on your license, you need to come to this place. The Citizen Center. The design is supposed to be people holding hands in a circle. They must be very happy citizens with lots of points on their licenses. I've just paid my fines, don't ask. What do you think of driving in China? Could you take on Chinese roads? Does it seem better or worse than where you're from? Let us know in the comment box below. Give us your thoughts, give us your ideas. We'd love to hear from you. And that's it for this time. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.